Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to, for the very first time this year, have Annika Agarwal joining us once again back here on Adobe Live Asia Pacific. How are you doing, Annika?
Good. How are you, Flynn?
I'm good. It's just crazy. I mean, my gosh, when are we? May. It's the first stream we've done. It feels crazy because we usually do about, 8 to 10 a year. So we're playing catch up now, but it's very exciting to have you back with us.
Thank you so much for having me. No, I was just thinking about that earlier today, and I'm like, yeah, let's make it a good one because this is our first time back in 2026. So we're gonna actually explore a lot today. We're gonna jump into Firefly boards. We're gonna jump into Adobe Express, our favorite, and we're also gonna do Photoshop's new rotate object. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's get into it.
That's amazing for those who, because it's been a while since you've been on, like particularly our feed. You're brand strategist, designer, all sorts of things, social media expert, Adobe expert as well. Do you want to give kind of a better elevator pitch than I can, and maybe tell
Yeah,
people a
no.
bit of who you are before we jump in?
You basically said it all
Okay.
really well, actually. I'm a brand strategist. I do social media for small businesses, and I also run a podcast. I talk to creatives in the creative industry to talk about real experiences, their lived experiences, to learn more and really educate people about design and the current news. I'm really passionate about making design accessible, and that's why I love doing live streams, and that's why we're here today. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, I know there's so much to cover, so let's share your screen and let's get stuck into it.
All right. Well, we are starting with Firefly boards. So if you've never used Firefly boards, you can hop on to firefly.adobe.com. During this whole live stream, my cursor will have this accessibility cue, so you can follow me along wherever I'm going on the screen. All the keys that I'm pressing will be available on here at the keystroke. So you can pause, hit pause, you can go back, rewind on the video on demand, and you can go in and pause whatever, like see whatever I'm doing. And if you still don't find anything, you can leave a comment down below and we can get back to you with whatever we're doing. All right, that was a quick disclaimer before we got started. I feel like we
Great.
always have to give that before we get started. So
Yeah, for
with
sure.
Firefly, yeah, and we're starting with Firefly on the web. And the first thing that I want to say is there's a big button on the left which says new. Here, you can create anything from chat to boards to video, image, even start a Photoshop file or start with an Adobe Express file. Today, we're going to jump into boards. And once I click on that, it redirects me to the boards version of Firefly. So this is where I can access all my current boards if I have any. I can go on to create a new board, and I already did that, and that's where we are. So once you click on new board, it gives you an infinite canvas where you can go in and put anything. You can put in your inspiration. You can use the Firefly models within here to generate image. So if I go on to this button down here, you can click on the commercially safe Adobe models such as Firefly 5, 4 Ultra, 4, and so on. But you can also use the partner models built into Firefly boards, which is something that we'll be using because for our purposes, it is just a demo. We're not reproducing any of these images. So I'm just going to be using Gemini for today's purposes. We can maybe experiment with ChatGPT as well, actually. So you do get a little bit of sneak peek, but we are creating brand imagery for a sneaker brand. I don't have a name, so I'm open to that. So let's. I actually did a very fun thing, and I made a keyboard shortcut for when I write sneaker, and it's gonna give my prompt in, so we don't waste any time today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, my beloved friend ChatGPT and Claude helped me make this prompt because there used to be an enhance button here, which used to help me enhance my prompt when I wrote it in natural language. But I've now trained my GPTs to create my prompts for me, like how I would say it. And if you notice here at the bottom, it says no logo, no N, no swoosh, no letter shapes because we don't want to make any copyrighted images, even if we're using partner models. So I said I want a single performance racing sneaker, side profile view on rough textured asphalt and warm afternoon sunlight, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of detail there about lighting, about shape, about colors, about lace, about how intense I want it to be, how I want a midsole, and everything imaginable. As you can see on my right, I want to say there's like a huge chunk of sneakers. So yeah, I like sneakers. So I thought this would be a perfect example.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see. Yeah, you've got boxes and
Yeah.
boxes of sneakers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought this would be so when Flynn actually suggested that, I was like, oh, that's right up my alley. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, I actually want to test. So I actually clicked on generate while we're talking. So I missed that. We wrote in our prompt, selected the model that you want to use. So I'm selecting Nano Banana 2. You can click the aspect ratio and select any of these when you're using Nano Banana 2. With Nano Banana 2, you specifically get more variation, and you also get to choose between 512, 1K, 2K, and 4K. I'm going to use 4K because I want the highest quality. And then I'm also going to use Nano Banana Pro because sometimes I've noticed with experimentation, some of the prompts work better with Nano Banana Pro and some work better with 2. So I'm going to use generate with that as well. And while that's generating, I'm actually going to use Chat GPT 2 as well. So let's do that and then select the quality as high. I'm actually never use the seed. That's just a
Hmm.
random seed, I'm guessing. And then I'm going to click generate. So yeah, that's it's already generating, and I can click and drag it out here, make it slightly bigger, and this is what was generated with our
I
first
might
prompt.
I might be putting you on the spot a bit, but can you explain seed? Because like and you might not be able to, but because seed from computer games is often like if you're playing like a map, like a game where it's randomly generated, you can copy the seed from someone else and it will use the same properties to generate the same thing. So does it work the same way here?
I think it is something similar where you use a random seed and the system uses that random seed to generate your particular image. But I don't really know what will happen if I change it. So what if I change it to this?
Yeah, let's find
Um,
out.
and click generate. I've never done this before in it, but since it's a text field, maybe you're supposed to change it. I don't know. We'll find
Yeah.
out. We're getting very different results from all of these, and I really like that because now it gives us more options to choose and pick from. So, while I really like this one, I think this one is what I was kind of imagining because I was like, oh, I want a running shoe and I want like a lace top with white and orange accents. I do really like this one, however, I think when I rotate this in 3D, I think the lighting would be an issue or could be an issue
Right, I
possibly.
see.
So maybe I won't use that, but we'll see. All right. And then while that's generating, since we are in Firefly boards, why don't we make more images? Because more is always not always, but more is sometimes better.
It's good to have
Let's
options, I guess. But
yeah.
I think it's something very interesting as well, like having this idea of an end goal when we're working on projects like this, because you know that you want to be able to make this 3D and you have like an end goal in mind. So it's good to have that
Mhm.
in mind because I wasn't really thinking about that because I quite like the light coming through the shoe, but you're right, that's going to be really impractical when you try to bring something into a 3D space because the light should change as you rotate it, right? So that's
Yes.
really cool.
Yeah, I think when I was previously experimenting with this, I did take a sneaker in and I tried with something similar, and it did not. I removed the background of the sneaker before rotating the object, and so it had no information on how to use that lighting for the
Yeah.
because there was no harmonized button anymore. We'll get more into it when we get into Photoshop, but I just want to showcase some of the other things. So this one, this is such an interesting result because this is actually Chat GPT. This was GBD Image 2, and this was Nano Banana Pro.
Right.
And the images look so different compared to each other, and I love how different they are because now it gives us a very this left shoe kind of looks like it's worn in. It's you've already went on a 10-mile run on this one, but
Right.
this one looks brand new, and I love the look of this. Um, let's get another angle of this as well. Oh, that's actually really cool that it used the same exact configuration, almost the same exact configuration for this one. And then we have this guy. Very interesting. All right. So what I did on this one was I actually used a female athlete and used that as my subject. What I wanted was a perspective image of that. This is my whole prompt that I used. You can copy paste and recreate if you wanted to. I wanted to actually use my image reference as the sneaker I had already selected out of all of these images that I generated. I didn't do that. I just gave it the prompt and I forgot that I had to image reference it. And it still gave me this because of the amount of detail that was in my prompt. So sometimes having that amount of detail in your prompt really helps. But obviously, this is not the exact same sneaker that it was generated, right?
Mm.
So if I wanted to do that, that's where your image reference comes in. So I can select this guy right over here. Now this is part of my image reference, and hopefully it's going to learn from this information, and I'm going to cross my fingers and my toes and click on generate again and see what happens. Usually it always does pick up, but with AI image generate, it's always learning, and it's always, I think the dynamic element of it is what makes it so special. Let's see what gets generated. I'm also going to write in a different prompt to create a subject in motion while wearing this sneaker. So this is a male runner in mid-stride along a desert road. Side profile view, distant wind turbines, and pale scrub on the horizon. Don't ask me what I asked Claude to write this prompt because I really don't remember. But I ended up here. So I am going to click on generate for this one as well. But while that's happening, I'm going to ask you, Flynn, which one do you think we should use out of all these? I'm going to put this to the side
Okay.
and we can scroll through. I'm going to make these a
I'm
little
looking
bit
off camera at
smaller.
my bigger screen over here. I mean, I
And
think I
then,
like the one, like probably the third one, like the one that has too much light coming through it,
okay.
as a shoe. I think the bottom
Okay.
two look too spongy and springy. I think I wouldn't do well in heels slash joggers, so I think they're
Yeah.
eliminated. Or the
Okay.
first one, the third or the
Hmm.
first one. Yeah,
The third or the first one? So you mean these
yeah,
two?
those two. Yeah, yeah. That's my vote.
Okay. Nice. So I think these two look very similar.
Yeah,
This is the third one and this is the second one. And these two look very similar, except the design is a little bit different.
I
But
think
the
the
shoe
bottom looks a little
style,
bit artifacty, like it that little cut.
mm, that's
It
a good call.
throws it
Yeah.
a little bit more. It looks AI. It looks
Yeah.
like it has a
Yeah.
mistake. It has an extra finger. Old school.
Yeah. No, we're going to go with three. I'm going to take your word for it and I'm going to
All
trust you
right.
and use
Good luck.
three.
I hope you weren't
Yeah.
steering me towards that one because you really needed it to be that one.
Not at all. I actually did say that this won't work well, but we'll find out how it does. Let's see what the images were generated while we were doing that. This actually gave me a very cool result because now there's more information about how the sole would look like from the bottom. As you can see, this one doesn't have like it. It looks like you've been wearing them, which is exactly the part of the campaign that I was going for because it's in perspective. I
Yeah.
do want to bring in this guy in here as well, which is like wearing the shoe. I did give it the GPT one, so it's wearing that.
Yeah, he's wearing the
But
springy ones. That's why he's
yeah,
bouncing.
yeah, yeah. But that's a problem for later. But let's jump into Photoshop. I already downloaded this image, but if you did not know how to do that, once you've generated the images, you can place them anywhere on this canvas. You place them, and now there's like 100 images. I still don't know which ones I want. The first thing you would want to do is maybe organize them so you can arrange them. And then now I've lost what image I wanted, but I see it here. I can actually load the prompt that I used to see what was the prompt used to create this. I can click variations of it, which we don't want in this instance. You can go back to a lot of different tutorials we have on the Adobe Live channel to find variations and how to create that in Firefly boards. You can also edit this image if you wanted to remove this shadow or make any changes, and then also convert it to a higher resolution using Topaz built in, which actually is upscale here. You can also remove background, you can crop it and download it as well. So it creates a PNG and it downloads it. As you can see, it's right over here. I can bring it up here and it's now downloaded to my machine. All right, let's hop on to Photoshop. I'm in Photoshop 2026. It's updated to the latest version. I am going to drag and drop my downloaded file in here as well. I think I'm going to leave it as is, press enter, and it's just on an artboard. And the one thing that I want to showcase is this contextual taskbar. I think this is really cool. Ever since we've gotten this contextual taskbar, it's literally made my life so easy because I can click one button and it removes the background, which is something that you can
Yeah.
or you may or may not want to do. I'm going to hit Command Z on that because I actually want to create a copy. I pressed Command J to make a copy of that layer. I'm going to hide the bottom layer just to keep a copy of that image. And the first one, I'm going to hit remove background again. All right, my machine is kind of dying, but we'll find out. Always, anytime you use AI. No, I'm kidding. Then the fun part is the rotate object, which actually this is where the magic happens. If you're on a Mac, you press Command T. If you're on a Windows, you press Control T. Now
Mm.
the contextual taskbar actually changed from it having remove background, select subject, all of that. I'm gonna bring it up top so you can look at it more easily. There's now a rotate object button where you can rotate the object. It gives you a little fun animation here, which shows you how you can do it, which is really nice. I am going to click on rotate object now, and it's preparing a rotatable object. What that means is it's taking the 2D information from this image and trying to show you how you can make a 3D version of that in just with like UI elements, which is actually so cool because I don't need to do any of this in Blender in any of the 3D tools. Like I don't need to go anywhere else and I can still remain in Photoshop and do all of this. I don't need to go to any of the like I don't need to go to Dimension to do this.
Yeah.
Um, let's
And this is
rotate
very
this.
recently out of beta. This was in beta for such a short amount of time. I was quite surprised. It obviously worked, as well as it could have for any beta
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I think
It
also
it
like I've experimented with this a lot. It's really good with like man-made objects, like physical objects, like things that have been
mhm.
like industrial, like shoes. I have no doubt that it was going to do an amazing job on shoes.
Yeah. I
Pretty
I
cool.
so love the fact that it's doing such a great job. I think I should have made the background darker, but I hope you can still see what I'm trying to do. You can also rotate it in real time, so it's still
Mm.
doing the thing. And then you can still again rotate. You can tilt it with these controls. If you wanted, you can tilt it using this slider as well, which is slightly easier to manipulate, I would say. But if you really wanted to see in real time how you would do it, I think this would be the way to go as well.
It's really
It
cool.
kind of like the fluidity of it is so nice because it kind of gives me full control. I can control any like wherever it's going. And I love that because I have 100% control of how this angle is going to look. Now, what I'm going to do with this image, now, whenever I'm doing something like this, I think I want it to be more fun. I don't have to go anywhere outside to do this photography of this 3D shoe. Obviously, that would be ideal. But for a campaign that I'm creating to demo a video or something that I'm doing in a short amount of time, if I'm a small business, I think this is such a helpful use case because I don't, this can be a great use case for mockups. This can be a great use case for something like this as well. So let's actually bring this in here. And you might be noticing that this looks very low res. And that's basically because you're doing it in real time. And so your system actually doesn't think about its live decisions. We give you a low res output just so you're doing it in real time. And then when you click on done, it generates
Yeah.
the high resolution images. So it is enhancing that rotated image. So it takes that 2D image, gives you 3D preview. You can tilt it around, rotate it around anywhere you want, any number of times. And then once you hit done, it creates an enhanced version of that image. And there you go. Voila, we
Yeah.
have a 3D image of the first one that we created. So let's go back to the initial one. This was where we started. And this is what we have. We had no information of this angle. It seems somewhat similar to what we had, but it is in perspective. It is rotated and tilted across to look like it's suspended in air. And I think I love that. Let's do another one. I'm going to press Command J on my keyboard again, because I'm on a Mac. And then I can go ahead. And if I had a background on this, you do have a harmonize button, which would change the lighting. For an
Yeah. And I wonder that
example,
that will probably get. I've got some faith that it might get rid of the glow on the inside, but who
yeah,
knows? It might put a giant sun behind behind it. We'll see.
let's try it out. I'm gonna do it with the background and see what happens. Full disclaimer, I've never done this without like removing the background. So we'll see what happens in
Let's
real
see
time.
what
And I think that's
happens.
the beauty of it. Yeah. That's how
Yeah.
you know it's live.
And the 3D render thing, that's pretty consistent with lots of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. Let's actually do a different angle this time. Maybe I'm gonna change the perspective a little as well. Maybe. Yeah, let's do this so you can actually tell that it's 3D and it's not just a 2D image. I'm gonna click done. This is again still a low res image, and I'm gonna click done here, and it's gonna enhance that rotated image really quickly. So this did have a background, but while it's doing the rotate object, it removed that background. So now I'm thinking, do I have to click on the harmonize button after? That's interesting. It completely removed the background on this one.
Yeah.
I guess you have to then, so if I had, let's say I already had like a different background, I could bring that in, which I think I actually do. So let me see if I do have that. No, I don't. You're not supposed to see that. But I can go back to Firefly boards and generate a different background. And then if I select this guy right over here, I can click on the harmonize button to get that harmonization going on, which will change the lighting here. If you have time at the end of this episode, slash live stream, we're gonna go back in here and click on harmonize. But let me actually go in here and get sorry, I'm gonna change the background to transparent, and I'm going to use the first image that we created. So we create this 3D version, and what I'm going to do is just export that really quickly as a PNG. So we can use that in Adobe Express. How did you use 3D rotate, Flynn? How did you use it?
I saw someone. I'm not an illustrator, but I saw someone use it in a really cool way. I think it was Tiny Party Hat. If you follow her on Instagram,
Yeah.
and they did like a drawing of like a bird or a butterfly. I can't remember exactly. Some sort of small flying animal,
Yeah.
like ladybugs or something, fireflies maybe. Anyway, and they just did one, and then they rotated it. And there's also a button you can press to extrapolate
Yeah.
many of the different angles, so they're all slightly different. And then she used them to put them into a scene where there was going to be thousands of things. So it's just like, well,
Nice.
this is a pretty good way of doing sort of like something in the background where there's, I'm trying to illustrate that there's thousands of these things around, and I haven't had to
Yeah.
individually draw each. And I believe that she actually had like injured her hands, so she couldn't draw at the time. So she's like, so right now this is actually really convenient. So
Yeah.
I copied that because I just wanted to see how well that would work for something. And it's pretty cool. And then I didn't do it, but I thought, you know how you can make a scatter brush in Illustrator where it can
Yep.
select from multiple things and spray it randomly? I thought that would be
Yeah.
pretty amazing if you were an illustrator to kind of create an arsenal of, like, you could quite quickly be like, cool, I'll make some fireflies, I'll make some butterflies, I'll make some, stars, like effects, like, stars in the sky. And then whenever you
Yeah.
wanted to, you could kind of jump in and just create this vector background, like really quickly, of your work, but with the assistance of AI. And I always like the of your work as the originator, and then saving you the, hundreds of hours of,
Yeah.
doing a task multiple times. Yeah.
No, I love that use case. I think that's a very good use case to even explore new features and
Yeah.
really just implement them to make your life easy. Um, yeah, no, I love that use case. We are actually now in Express. I did a bunch of things while we were talking, but I
Yeah.
am in Express. So this is Adobe Express at new.express.adobe.com. There are various versions of this. There's free, there's premium. I am on a premium. So if you see anything with the crown icon, that is probably a premium feature. I did open up a 1080 by 1350 pixel page or a file in here, and I pulled up a couple of images. This was the one I created earlier, and this was the one I created right now. I think I like this more just because the lighting is a little better in this one. So for the sake of time, let's remove this one. I did the same thing, but I just took a lot longer, probably hours to do that. But let's rotate this a little bit. And you might be wondering, what kind of a poster has like a sneaker like this? Who does that? But hear me out. Trust the vision. I am gonna zoom this out a little bit more. And then there's this very cool thing in Express if you've never used it. It's called brands. And I have a brand kit in here which has all my colors, all my fonts, and everything that I want for this particular project. It also has some graphics, which is really cool. But what I'm going to do right now is actually change the color of this page. And I wonder if I can pick my brand in here. Here we go. And now I can change the brand color to this. It kind of is low contrast, but that's where my paper texture will come in because I wanted to give that kind of paper tactile kind of feel. Now, I really want to get into running this year, but I haven't been able to because the weather has been so bad, and I'm not a runner yet, so I don't go out running in the rain. So
Right.
we're
And it's
not
been
we're not
snowing,
there
hasn't
yet.
it been snowing for like 4 months or something over there?
It's been snowing and raining so much, but
Yeah.
it's Global Running Day in June. I think it's every first Sunday of June is Global Running Day every year. And it is on June 3rd this year, if I'm not wrong. And so I'm thinking that I should be able to do a 5K by then. Is that ambitious? Because it's
How
close.
far? How long do you have?
uh, Not a lot. Let's just
Wait,
say
how many
not a
weeks?
lot.
Because so I did the same thing. I went from I used an app. It was really good for me because I have bad
Yeah,
knees and I'm old.
yeah,
And that app, but it was I'm not a runner at all, not built like a runner at all.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I found it really good. So we did 0 to 5K, and I did it in 8 weeks.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Nice.
but
Yeah.
it's supposed to be 10 weeks. But at the end of the
Mm,
8 weeks, it was a 9.5 kilometer run I did, which was
wow.
the city to surf. So you run from the Sydney CBD and then you run
Yeah.
to Bondi Beach,
Wow.
which
That
is
sounds like so much fun.
it was really good actually. And I was dead halfway, but there were so many other people running that I kind of am motivated to
Yeah.
keep going. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was absolutely dead for like 3 weeks. I'm lucky I didn't destroy my knees, to be honest. But I found that really useful. That like a 0 to 5K app sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you've got, I know it
I
can be
should
done in 8 weeks. I don't know how
I
long you
should
have though.
download that. I have close to five. I want to say.
You can do it. You can do it. You're
Yeah.
probably younger
Yeah.
and fitter than me, so
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
We'll find out. We'll find out. I also don't like running, so I don't know how that would go. I also don't like the look of this while we're talking about that. But meanwhile, I'm creating a poster here, so I didn't talk a lot about it, but I did add a heading here. I added a date, which is going to be my handwritten part. I did find I have copy on the side, so if you're wondering where I'm getting this copy from, I'm not a fast typer, maybe a little bit, but
Mhm.
not that fast. So I just got this copy from the side here. I do want to make it the same size though. So I'm going to make it 26 and also make this 26. There we go. And then I don't know if I like it completely, but we're going to leave it here just for our time. And then I really do want to add some paper texture to it. So I can go to add content, go to elements, and then type in paper text. See
I
what comes
quite
up.
like the title font that you have there. What's that? You can come back to it
It's
later if you
actually
want. But
it's not an Adobe font. It's actually by a designer, Brandon Nickerson. He
oh,
does a lot
okay.
of fun fonts, and I really like his. I'll send you the links later, but it is
Yeah.
just bmnix.com, I think,
Okay.
if I'm not
Cool.
wrong.
Yep. Check it
Yeah,
out.
he
Chat. I'll
does
be
a
checking that
very
out.
cool.
BM Nix.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
BMNix. One of the really cool things that actually happened, I think I can do that here. I don't know. Oh, can I not? That's interesting. So I was actually using Express yesterday, and
Mhm.
earlier in like, let's say 2 months ago, if you had like a huge layer on top, you won't be able to select things like under it because
Yeah.
that's on top and you wouldn't be able to select it. But yesterday or day before, I was using it and I was still able to select it, but I can't do that now. So I'm wondering maybe something changed.
Mm. Yeah. Can happen. Can you lock
Something
it or anything,
probably.
or there's nothing you can
Oh,
do?
here we go. You can still select it. So this layer is still on top,
Mm.
but I think I already had that selected, which is why it wasn't letting me. So this is the
Right.
paper layer. It is not logged. I click outside anywhere on the canvas and I can go in and move this around anywhere I want. And this is a new feature. I think this was so helpful because I don't have to go in, lock it, or earlier I had to like move it
Yeah.
to the side and remember that it was still there. Because this is a canvas in a different, like a web app like this to be so intuitive. I thought that was so cool. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool and helpful. I
It's
love
a
it.
super useful feature. Yeah, it's like we're so used to it in Photoshop, right? Like to move things back and send things forward, and even in
Yeah.
Illustrator and in Photoshop, I suppose. So it's nice when
Yeah.
it can be a bit more intuitive and there's a bit of a shortcut to sending things back and sending things forward. You don't have to really
Basically.
worry about that
Yeah.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually loved it because I was like, this is so simple, but it makes my life so easy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just copy pasting. Oh, that's a bunch of text. And I didn't want that. So I am gonna make that fit into here. I still don't want that. And I think one feature that Adobe Express does really well is text flow. So I can do that and create a new text box right here. How do you do that? Hold on. What happened?
Is it the
I don't
top?
have a
Oh
text
no.
box. Where is
I
it?
always just think of InDesign and think there should be a little plus in the bottom right, you know?
I also thought that. It's so funny because I was looking for it. Wait, text flow. Oh, you got to select both of them. Text flow. Here we go. So you
Okay,
select both
cool.
of them. So you have two text areas and you select both of them, and that's where your text is. So now there's no red line because all the overflowing text is coming here. If you have a red line, it means you still have some text here, which means either we need to remove some text or we need to make it smaller. In this case, I am going to make it 24. It is already 24. Let's go to 18. All right. And then that's my whole text. Now there is no blue line, there's no dotted line, there's no red dotted line. A red dotted line means your text is overflowing, which looks something like this. If you have
Yep.
this, that means all of your text is still not in this text area, so expand that area. If you have a blue dotted line, it means this text is flowing into a second box, which is right over here, which is denoted by this little number, which is really nice. And then this solid blue line means that the text box has ended. There's no new text to add. I think this is really neat and helpful in Adobe Express. I am gonna size it down just like so, and I think I want to size it down like here as well. I also want to showcase a very cool feature here in Express, which is social save zones. While we are creating a poster, I did make it a size for Instagram just to showcase this feature. I can turn this on. It already knows that I did an Instagram size. So it gives me the social safe size, which means anything inside this blue margin is a safe zone. So anything outside this might be cropped in if you're looking at a different phone. So let me move this inside it just so it's also socially safe. I think I want to move
That's useful.
this through a little bit. Yeah. Maybe something like this. And then probably. Obviously, you can go in and finesse this as much as you want. That's what we do. We talk to ourselves and we create designs.
Yeah, we were talking about that beforehand, weren't we? We were setting up for the stream, and I was talking to myself, and Annika was asking, "Are you talking to me?" I said, "No, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm designing for a second, so I had to
Yeah.
talk to myself."
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's like one of the things that all designers do. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. We're good. This is a judgment-free zone. We listen and we don't judge. Is that what it was? All right. I do want to size it up again to 24, I think it was. Okay. Let's leave this here. I think this is getting a little crowded, so I might need to size everything down just by a slight bit, but the finessing goes on forever. I do
Right.
want to showcase the one feature that I really love. Once you're done with all of the finessing and all of the details that you've done about in your poster or your social post, you can actually download it from right over here in various file formats. So you can do PNG, JPEG, PDF, print. You can also order prints if you're in Canada, UK, and like USA. You can also order prints via the Zazzle integration within here. If it's a poster, I think this would be a perfect way to do that. But you can also share it to all your social channels. So if I click on the share button, you have a schedule post button right here where I can go in and share to social media right from this file. So I don't need to go anywhere else. It'll load up a preview of the file or design that I've created. I can click my Instagram account. I can choose the type of post I want. In this case, I would want it to be post. Here's the preview. You can add alt text to that as well, which is really nice. And I'm going to say sneaker caption. Oh, no. It brought up all my replace text for sneakers. So here we
Oh
go.
yeah.
That's our caption for right now. And then obviously you can add first comment. You can think about if you want to schedule it now or in the future. Since this is June 3rd, how about we do June 3rd and do 8:49 a.m. And then I am going to set as draft, because every time I demo Adobe Express or any of the tools, I demo social scheduling and it always posts on all my social channels, and someone messages me saying, "Oh, did you mean to post this? Because I'm seeing this and you don't
Right.
have this brand." And I'm like, "No, it's just Adobe Express doing its thing behind my back." So yeah, I'm just gonna hit set as draft. I can preview it to see how it'll look on the platform that you've
That's cool. I
selected,
like that. That's a nice
which
feature.
is,
Like seeing it in context is really important.
yeah, it really gives you how the look and feel of everything. So if I do let's say LinkedIn and not, or maybe both. Let's do Instagram and LinkedIn both, and then I'm going to do preview again. It'll give you a little button here to show you how that looks on LinkedIn as well. Some of this information is dummy because it's not pulling up real time data. So it just gives you the name, your image, and then what it's going to look like. Obviously, this is not what your final product should look like. Please work on it a little bit more than I did. But the fun part is that Adobe Express lets you do all this within the app. So you can stay here, add your fonts, add your custom fonts, which is actually what we did. I'm going to add draft just so that we can see it on our calendar in a second. But you can use this custom font if you wanted. So you can add all your custom fonts with this upload button right here. This is a premium feature though. So if that's something that you wanted to do, you could do that. And I think we'll probably be covering brand kits and how to upload your fonts in a future live stream. So there's my plug for one of our future live streams.
Nice.
But we did text flow. We did all sorts of fun things today. Actually, I'm really proud of what we achieved today. Yeah.
It's really, yeah, it's really cool. I really like the design. I always like, combining the apps together as well. Like this looks like a real ad. Like it looks like a real poster. It looks like something that you could see and you could be proud of. And when it just needs to be on the screen as well, like not printing posters, although you probably could. But it looks legit. Like you could share this around. Are they crop marks? Or, oh no, you've done a design on there. Okay. I thought there was coming with crop marks after I just said you're not going to print it.
Here we go. Here we go. No, I brought in my design that I did earlier as
nice
cooking show.
Yeah.
But I worked on this one a lot more. Can you tell? But yeah.
It's cool. I like it. I like the top right, June 3rd as well. It shows me very quickly what we're doing when we're doing it. It's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Well, very, very good. Thank you, Annika. Thank you for taking us through that again. I mean, being on Adobe Live again and taking us through that.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm glad we got to cover Photoshop Rotate Object today. We went to Firefly boards and we also explored Adobe Express. So a fun, information-packed stream, and I'm really excited to get into it for the next time we stream. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Annika. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back again shortly with some more Adobe Live from Asia Pacific. Thanks everyone.